Mother's Day. Mother's Day sermons are complicated for all denominations. The Reverend Steve Eddington is Minister Emeritus of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Nashua, New Hampshire. He had 41 years of service as a UU minister, and he puts it this way. If you were to take a toll of members of the clergy in America, cutting clear across denominational and theological lines, and ask, what is the sermon topic you most prefer to avoid? The winner, in all likelihood, would be a sermon about mothers on Mother's Day. Now, why is this so many may not seem that apparent? That's not apparent at first. How can you go wrong talking about mothers? Well, Rev Eddington goes on, let me count the ways. Praise mother too much and too uncritically, and you invite flack from anyone who has some unpleasant mommy issues, which they do not want to be reminded of unless they're discussing them with their therapist. But if you talk too much about such mommy issues, then you might just hear from those who don't have them, because their mothers were just fine, thank you very much. And what about those women who by choice or circumstance are not mothers? Are you dissing them by extolling the virtues of motherhood? And how about those moms who are less than thrilled at being moms, or feel they don't quite cut it as a mother, and don't want to hear about how great it is, and so it goes on and on and on. Close quotes. Mother's Day is a complicated landmine field of trauma, emotions, joy, and mixed memories. Now, being inclusive, we Unitarian Universalists embrace the whole wide variety of mothers and mothering people in all their many forms. So let's just start our thoughts with regards as mothers as the greatest influencers. When you were growing up, very likely you got your views, techniques, domestic standards from your mother. Included in that is cooking, eating habits, cleanliness, what clothes to wear, what clothes not to wear, buying habits, when to smile and when to be on guard. Does the toilet paper roll off the top or off the bottom? How to make a bed, views of authority, dealing with feelings, interfacing with people on things like trust, truth, violence, and generosity. Mothers have this incredible role in shaping the future when they transmit their values and behaviors onto their children and those in their care. Now, of course, fathers and family members also influenced your upbringing. But in our society, and pretty much the world's at large, it has still held the ancient role in the norm of gender roles. Mothers fill the role of nurturing, caring, and baking of delicious cookies. And fathers fill the role of physical, being emotionless, and teacher of sports. But these norms are rarely based in reality. These norms we hear about are projected to be the ideal, and they become our expectations. But holding expectations that anyone, especially a mother, will meet our expectations of the ideal, that can really damage and distort your life. But we still, subconsciously, we hold an ideal stereotype of mothering. And sometimes it's true. Your mom was perfect, or at least imperfectly perfect. Even after our therapists tell us how blaming our mother isn't helping us, we still do it, even as a senior citizen. We hold extremely high expectations for our mother, the great influencer. Unitarian Universalist minister, the Reverend Andrea Abbott, says it this way, quote, "Mothers not only have the most difficult job in the world, not only are they given a task that is possibly the one that carries the greatest load of expectations, forming another human being, but they also are given very little guidance. There are books, but those books often feel as much as like indictments as help. Who can live up to the job description of perfection? And what are the consequences of failure?" She goes on to write, "Mothers live in a web of gratitude and resentment." Oh my gosh, that is so good. Mothers live in a web of gratitude and resentment, of the desire for closeness and the desire for independence. As children, we are contradictory and finely tuned beings, and our care and maintenance is entrusted to a mere mortal. Often someone with little experience, someone who herself may not have had the guidance and nurturing she needed to guide and nurture someone else. Close quotes. Oh my gosh. So we can say this about mothering as a human activity. Mothering is when a caring adult makes sure a child survives until adulthood. Mothering is when a caring adult makes sure a child survives to adulthood. While getting a child to survive to adulthood is a huge responsibility, do you see the way those words completely resets the expectations of mothering? Get the child to survive until adulthood. Nothing about being perfect. Nothing about making cookies every day. Nothing about never raising your voice or forgetting a date. Just get the child to survive until adulthood. So if you've made it to adulthood, you can thank your mom or whomever mothered you. Did your relationship with your mother go through transitions over time? I say that every mother-child relationship goes through a multitude of radical transitions from birth on. There's this phase of you being helpless and all your needs provided by mom, to your own growth and emotional experiences of primary school, to the bizarro world of adolescence, to the phase of exerting yourself as independent in high school, to moving and living away from home, to entering into romantic relationships on, and for some of you, moving from child to care provider. This role reversal, when a child becomes the provider and caregiver of their mother, is becoming more and more common. And there's no manual for this phase. Yes, your relationship with your mother will go through, has gone through constant transitions, and it never seems to go smoothly. During these transitions, moms seem to think that they're the ones who know best. Moms seem to yearn for the days when they controlled all aspects of your life, and act like that's still the case. Moms seem to have no restrictions or reservations on telling you how you could do better. My own life, oh my gosh, my own life was full of particularly rough transitions with my mom. About my friends in high school, my behavior and what was called acting out, my hair, my clothes, moving away from home, my choice of a life partner, my choice of education, frequency of communication after I left home, how often I'd come home to visit. And the toughest transition that I experienced was telling mom she can't drive anymore, taking her keys because she was a danger to others. I've seen the rocky road of transitions even in the healthiest of families, even in the best mother-child relationships. It seems that at any age, at every transition, there's a struggle with communications. Mother, can you hear me is not metaphorical. It's a cry from you and from the child you will always be to your mom as you transition into your next life phase. The connection between child and mother is deeper and more complex and more emotional than any other relationship. Yet for being so deep, the breakdown in communication seems always present. Mothers have our best interest in their minds, but sometimes it feels like they don't hear us. Mother, can you hear me? And the connection between mother and child yearns for solid communication, and I'm sure our mothers are asking us, child, can you hear me? Mother, I am who I am because of you. I am who I am from the start you gave me. Now I am who I choose to be. Mother, can you hear me? Mothers make a lot of mistakes and they do a lot of things right. To expect any human to be perfect is a setup for disappointment. I'm really a big advocate of resetting expectations, especially those that hurt me when they are unmet, unachievable, and unrealistic. I'm also a big advocate of embracing the imperfect perfection of people, including mothers. We are all imperfect perfections. We are all 100% saint and 100% flawed. And mothers are the key members of the imperfect perfect club. And we need to celebrate them as they are, not as comparing them to some ideal. You made it to adulthood, and that's good. Happy Mother's Day to all who are moms, the ideal ones, the ones that are doing the best they can, the marginalized ones, and the imperfect perfect ones. Happy Mother's Day to anyone who is helping or who has helped a child survive to adulthood. Mother, can you hear me? Mother, how long will you say that what I should and shouldn't do? Mother, when can I stop following your rules without hurting you? Mother, can you see me for what I am? Can you allow me to be me? Mother, can you hear me? Amen, and blessed be.